Isn't it amazing how even in just 101 seconds of carefully curated, edited Netflix content, Meghan Markle's mask was still able to slip oh so obviously?
All right, let's unpack this wild roller coaster of royal chaos. Meghan Markle's With Love, Meghan Netflix series. Part 2, which has somehow managed to turn 101 seconds of trailer footage into a full-blown internet roast. And honestly, it's hard to disagree with the critics. Even in those short clips, Meghan's mask, as her critics put it, seemed to slip again.
As Nancy Sidley commented on the new trailer, the first look at With Love Meghan Series 2, Meghan Markle is doing her best impression of a woman. I'm not on the edge, even though we really know she is. Sister Stephanie, where we're showing you the many times Meghan Markle's mask slips during Part 2's trailer. She just can't keep it together for more than 5 minutes. Royal News Network was also taken by the official shots, pointing out, wow, the photoshopping and airbrushing here is insane. I definitely get a bit of an uncanny vibe here. So obviously fake. And look at this video put together by Revealing the Narc, which, according to Taz, commented on, saying, always aware of the camera. Someone else pointed this out, and now I've seen it, I can't unsee it. Why does she stick her tongue out like a lizard when she eats? She lays whatever it is on her tongue, then slaps it back in. So we're going to do a deep dive now on this trailer, exposing just how terrible the humiliating Netflix deal really is with royal YouTube sensation P. Diner. P. Diner, before we get into the details, your first impressions.
Yeah, hello, Dan. I just look at Megan as somebody who is trying really hard to be liked. When I watch it, I just feel like she is, yes, once again, overcompensating, really trying to show that she's nice, she's likable, her life is going really well. There's nothing wrong with anything in her surroundings, in her life with her husband and this Netflix deal. She gives this aura that she's trying to not show the true emotions that are happening with her. It doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel warm and fuzzy and inviting. It feels very contrived and not something that would draw you in to want to watch. You suddenly have this cringe factor when you watch it because you know underneath she is like the wolf in grandma's clothing, trying to make herself out to be this nice, humble person. But underneath it all, the stories that we've seen, everything we know about Megan outside of this show is nasty and ugly. So you can't really see what she's trying to curate for what she wants us to see because we already know the story about who she is. It just doesn't feel right. It's laughable that she thinks this is a good thing, and it really and truly is not.
Royal watchers like Nancy Sidley immediately clocked what they called the performance of a woman pretending not to be on the edge, while others joked that Meghan can't keep up the facade for more than 5 minutes without something cracking. Royal News Network pointed out the absurd level of photoshopping in the promo shots, saying the images looked so fake it was uncanny. And once viewers started noticing Meghan's odd habit of sticking her tongue out like a lizard while eating.
Also, what's hilarious is People magazine, via the Meghan Markle PR machine, trying to convince us that this motley crew of Z-listers is in some way a coup for season 2. This is what they report. I mean, it might as well be a press release. While season 1 featured Meghan welcoming friends such as Mindy Kaling and Daniel Martin alongside culinary legends like Roy Choi and Alice Walters, season 2 promises an equally impressive lineup. It includes more celebrity pals like Chrissy Teigen. Oh yes, I've heard of her. The mega bully other than Meghan Markle in Hollywood. And Tan France. No, me neither. Renowned chefs Jose Andre, David Chan, Salman Nosrat, Christina Tosi, and Claire Smith, as well as cultural influencers like Jay Shetty and Radi Devluka. Season 2 will also feature Meghan's close friend and Pilates Platinum founder Heather Dorak, along with the return of Martin, her longtime friend, and makeup artist Jamie Kern Lima, the baby talk queen. A friend that Meghan joined in her first podcast appearance as a guest earlier this year also appears in the trailer. I mean, Pete Diner, come on. Look, I'm maybe not as across the entertainment sort of Hollywood world as I once was. But genuinely, and some people can say I'm out of touch with some of these people, I think one of these dudes is in the Netflix series, the Queer Eye Netflix series. But other than that, the only person there I've heard of outside of the world of Meghan Markle is Chrissy Teigen. And of course, she's most famous for probably being the second biggest bully in Hollywood behind Meghan Markle. These aren't great names, are they?
Yeah. Absolutely. These are not household names. These are not people that are recognizable just by seeing them. You don't know who these people are. Yeah, I'm sure they've got a following of their niche, people that know and follow them in their specific area of expertise, but they're not household names. And what you would expect from someone as a duchess from the royal family, someone who has ties to the royal family, your worth is who you're able to connect with. You can't connect with A-listers. It really says a lot about you and your brand and how well you're able to be perceived because you're not bringing in people that we know. Most people know who these people are. It's almost like you're like trying to learn, okay, well, who are they? What do they do? They're not household names to us. And I just think it's a slap in the face to someone like Meghan to show that she has no star power. She cannot bring in people that we would recognize, especially the people that she's been seen with in photos, because she's lost all of those friendships. These people don't want anything to do with her. So I think it speaks volumes, I think, more to her friendships that she thinks she has, because you should be able to call on the people that are these top names that you have once been associated with if you are truly rolling in those circles. And it shows that she's not in those circles because she can't even get these people, these household names on her show. It's embarrassing. It
Well, it
speaks
is.
more to the lack of star power for her than anything.
Well, it is, because look at where we've even come from archetypes, right? So archetypes, that first podcast, okay, the Taylor Swifts and Lady Gagas of this world said hell no. But yeah, she got Mariah Carey, she got Paris Hilton, she got Serena Williams. That was the standard of guest that Netflix was expecting, not this motley crew of Z-list ne'er-do-wells, who, by the way, if they really are lifestyle gurus, should go and actually teach Meghan Markle how to start treating people pretty well, other than, what she actually does
Absolutely.
to them. Yeah. But Royally Sage pointed out, and
Absolutely.
yeah, Royally Sage pointed out, I thought this was very clever, Pete Diner, though, as well, to look into this. It looks like Netflix has actually had to significantly pull the strings to get people on this damn show. Because she pointed out most of Rachel's guests are already Netflix people. Because how else was she supposed to get guests when she can't even get invited to the smallest of Hollywood gatherings in private? Also, notice the lack of diversity. And if you look closely at this, most of those guests, you see, are in some way connected to another Netflix show. Very interesting, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yet again, that's how embarrassing this is
Well, that became the internet's favorite meme of the week. That's really the story here. The trailer, the tone, the casting, everything screams desperation. Meghan knows this might be her last big swing with Netflix, and she's throwing everything at the wall, hoping something sticks. But all that effort just highlights how fragile her public image has become. There's no authenticity left to sell. The charm offensive has worn off. Even the casual viewers can see through the fake laughter and overblown positivity.
the connections that you have are not people who are going to draw in audience for you. They already have their audiences on Netflix. And so Netflix is just reaching into its own database of people who they're trying to connect with, and they know they'll get a connection because they're already on Netflix. And also to the point about lack of diversity, it is shameful. It is shameful that Meghan Markle doesn't have not one person of color on this show, nor did she have really last year. She had the one lady from Paramount's wife. But other than that, she doesn't have women of color on her show. And I'm sure there are a lot of creators out there who would love to have exposure, a platform given to them by someone like Megan, just because she has this name recognition. Why not extend that to someone who doesn't have such a big platform that is someone of color? And it's appalling to me that I thought about that. I think, why can you not have one person on that show for this second season that represents who you think you are, a woman of color, and you don't? And it speaks to the fact that she doesn't look at herself as a woman of color, clearly, because she's not trying to identify with anybody who represents that side of her mother's family. And perhaps even the cooking, the recipes, things that she could probably introduce around the culture of soul food or whatever, things like that. She just doesn't do it. She has no connection to it. And to the people that want to support Megan, that are women of color, what do you have to say about that? Most importantly, you support someone that you say is a woman of color, but yet she does not connect herself to anything around the culture of being a woman of color. Absolutely not. It's
She was
appalling.
only a woman of color when she wanted to accuse the royal family of racism and bring them down. That was it. Also interesting, by the way,
Yeah.
at this point, no sign of Doria, no sign of Prince Harry. It looks like they filmed that one little cameo for series one. Remember when Doria turned up looking absolutely miserable and Harry did the half-hearted toast? And the Netflix executives obviously
Mhm.
said, well, look, we're going to have to put this into series one because otherwise it looks too weird, which means that there's none of that star power in series two. Okay, P. Diner, let's watch this. So we're going to look at the first few seconds uh, just without any sound, because what she's done quite craftily actually is use the song Rockin' Robin. Now, there's a reason behind this, P. Diner, because as you know, what it means is that YouTubers like you and I are unable to play it properly because of copyright restrictions. So I think it's very, very clear that she's used that song for a reason.
Mm. Yeah. I think Megan is trying to be clever in a lot of different ways, but look, with no sound and still get our meaning across just as easily with the song or without the song. I mean, all we have to look at is Megan's unauthenticity and just really come to a clear a narrative around who this woman is. And yeah, nothing's going to stop us from being able to show the shortfalls of this woman. She's not clever in any way. Go ahead and try, but we can still do what we need to do without the sound.
Yeah, although what my team has done, because they're so clever, P. Diner, I would have no idea how to do this, but they have actually taken out the Rockin' Robin. Okay, so we can look at the rest of it with
Mm-hmm.
sound now, just without the Rockin' Robin. And in the first little section, we get the introduction of the woman who she clearly views as the superstar bully in chief, Hollywood's biggest bully, introducing Chrissy
Mm-hmm.
Teigen. Look at this.
The Duchess, who once promised to change the world, is now hawking bread and pottery with B-list influencers and a fallen Twitter troll. When with Love, Meghan first debuted, there was at least curiosity. People wanted to see what she'd do post-royal exit. Now, that curiosity has curdled into fatigue. The brand feels hollow, the message confused, and the execution tone-deaf. Meghan's once lofty image as a modern, empowered duchess has devolved into what critics call a beige parade of false smiles and empty platitudes. The numbers, the reactions, and the sheer indifference of the public say it all. This isn't the comeback she hoped for. So, to borrow Dan Wootton's closing line, you don't have to watch it. He and his panel will take one for the team and dissect the lowlight when it drops. For everyone else, save your time and your sanity. Because if this trailer is anything to go by, With love, Meghan might just be the most joyless joy show ever made.